Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages part 1 for May 8th through the 15th. It is a very big week. I just feel like dong, with like good energy coming in. But I've never been one to come out with the healing messages and be one of those who just feeds you a line of crap to make it good. That always depends on your free will as to if you're making it good for you or not. It depends on your frequency, that vibrational frequency that you are in, and your free will. Are you doing that? And the reason I'm saying that is this is one of those kind of weeks. It can be such a great week for manifestation, even if you may not see it all right now. It's for that start, the foundation of that foundation. But it can also be one of those weeks where you might make yourself a little bit crazy. Last week, I asked everybody, or I was told when I was doing the healing messages, and I did it with the astrology, because that's what this week will be. Anytime I do part 1 and part 2, you will have spirit information and guidance, and you will have astrology in part 1. And you will have any spirit information I'm given, and the tarot, or if I'm drawn to ruin, in part 2 for the rune cast. So I'm making them 2 separate ones because they have gotten so long lately. This is to make it easier on you. But last week I was given the story of Bellerophon and the Pegasus, and the trick, basically the trick that the gnat had bit the Pegasus, which is what bucked him off of the Pegasus, so he never made it to Mount Olympus. And the Pegasus thought the Bellerophon had done it. But that was a trick set by Zeus to make him not be able to get to Mount Olympus. The thing is, I asked last week, because that was the information I was being given, what side of Neptune are you on? This week and next week are very much also going to be in that energy of what side of Neptune are you on, because everything is surrounding Neptune. It's not necessarily all hitting Neptune, but it is all surrounding it in some way. And this is where that question comes in, is what Spirit is bringing to me. When I say what side of Neptune are you on, let's look at it this way. Neptune is everything that is magical, everything that is fantasy, everything that is dream, everything that just is the awe of the fantasy and the magic and the story that you want in life. But on its opposite side, where it's not bringing that creation of the wonderful magic to you, its opposite side, in that avoidance and denial area of Neptune. Long story short, when I ask you what side of Neptune are you on, what I'm asking you is, are you dealing with your own beast? Are you dealing with your own dark energy and demon? Are you dealing with that? Because if you're allowing it to trick you into things, then that creation that's coming from Neptune right now is going to take you in the wrong direction. And that's why it's important right now to be on that right side of Neptune, is what I'm being given. Because I'm being told this week is creation, this week is Neptune, this week is your inner child, this week is unpredictability, and this week is Jupiter's abundance. But before I go into all of that, I'm going to go over what Spirit told me. But also, this week we have a full moon. We have a full moon on the 10th, smack dab in the middle of the week, on Wednesday in Scorpio. So right there talks about intensity, intense feelings. Scorpio feels everything. The good, the bad, the blissful, the loving, the wonderful, the denial, the betrayal. Scorpio hits it hard, basically, and that's smack dab in the middle of the week. And I'm being told pretty much straight out from the 12th through the 15th, that energy is just going to rise. And that really depends on what side of Neptune you're on. Are you creating what is good for you? Are you creating that just everything that you want to bring into life? Are you unearthing it? Are you unearthing it? And what is it you're unearthing? Are you unearthing that positive, creative Neptune energy? Or are you unearthing your beast and allowing it to take you in the negative way? That's something you need to make sure you're on the right side of. Free will, baby. Okay, we also have Mother's Day at the end of the week on the 14th, which is Sunday, so I may not remember on the next one, so happy Mother's Day to everyone now. This week, we are feeling that energy, though, because of something that's going to be going on in astrology on the negative side. But there's so much other positive, and I'm coming back for that. Spirit led me directly. I don't talk about the fairy energy that much. That's why I'm outside. I'm outside by the sanctuary today. Right behind me is one of the doors, the back door to the sanctuary. And you might see the curtains blowing. It's where I go for a lot of my meditation. But that's my outdoor church, basically. And I was told, you know, tell people to get outside, spend some time with nature. It will help them clear up some of those things they need to clear up. But I'm also just being told Mother Nature wants you back. And get outside. I don't always talk about that fairy energy, the fae energy, because it's just not always something that I talk about. But I will admit that my home and my property is full of fairy energy. And when I was doing my shamanic journey, I was shown a fairy and that of winged like creature to look for. So last night I started posting information about flowers because it showed itself after the shamanic journey, and I knew exactly what to be looking for. I had the most beautiful spirit in gold, the most beautiful spirit in gold, and it also had the most beautiful purple energy at the same time. Little itty bitty. Fairies were dragging me to where they wanted me to go. And a lot of times with the healing energy, a lot of times when I have fairy energy talking to me, they will light the way and show me to plants that they want you to know of. And this week, they are sending me to the geranium flower. They are sending us to flowers in general, but they picked out two specific ones. And the geranium flower, they're sending us to because of what it stands for. But it has so many great reasons that they are sending you to that for this week. It stands to coming together. Geranium stands for that whole energy of coming together. But it also stands for coming together in your mind, body, and spirit. It stands for cooperation. It stands for alignment for that greater purpose, for the greater good. It also stands for positivity, protection, purification, courage, and resilience. That's a lot of things. But they're also telling me that you may want to bring that oil to you. Get geranium oil this week because it also is very good for feminine healing, healthcare. But it's also for healthcare, not just feminine. I'm seeing it for depression. I'm seeing it for anxiety. I'm seeing it for you know, just uplifting. But I'm also seeing it for like tooth care and other stuff. So they're being shown us that I'm being shown or told to also look into it. Maybe you want it as a diffuser for your house to help lift that positive energy. A crow just flew across the yard. Change, but I love crows. Crows are always near me. Anyway, you want the geranium flower in your life this week, or at least its energy, and that's why the fairies are showing it to me. But when they spoke to me, they directly gave me, they showed me it, they brought me to it, but then what they did is they intentionally were bringing me to my right side of my body and my right side of my face. And that specific energy is telling us that's in the crown and in the third eye energy that you need to be pulling in that geranium energy, basically. And it's saying also of yourself in general, as well as stop picking and blaming yourself. Self-blame. And stop being afraid to see or hear what it is that the geranium is trying to teach you. Again, that's coming together in general with people, places, things, mind, body, and spirit, cooperation, positive energy, courageous, reliance, protection, purification, and aligning to your greater purpose, to the greater good. So geranium is brought to you by the fairies this week. They also bring me to the petunias. And petunias, for one, also go with the number. In numerology, they go with the number 5. And they're going with the number 5 in unearthing through balance and change for fulfillment. That's what 5's change is all about. Unearthing what needs to change through that balance for fulfillment so the change can happen. I'm being told again that a lot of this has to do with also being afraid to see yourself in that better place, in that cooperation. The geranium energy is what I'm being told. It's being afraid to be the honest truth with yourself so that you can start to align yourself to that greater purpose. But back to Petunia. Petunia speaks to us of friendship, beauty, being carefree. It speaks to us of a fresh perspective on things. But yeah, a fresh perspective, but it also reminds us to go to the number 5 in energy. And I am given this week in animals, I am given the octopus. And I always say, for me, because the way Spirit has taught me the octopus is the octopus is within our water energy, our deep waters, which is our emotions. It's our emotions as well as our mental, because that's where we mentally get there with our emotions. And it's our deep waters. So that talks deeply to us of our sensitivity as well as body sensitivity, not just emotional. And when I'm brought to octopus, octopus basically shows me of the sea, of the animals of the sea. It is the phoenix that rises from the ashes. But of our emotions, of our sensitivity, the octopus stands for that same kind of energy, just emotionally, and only emotional and sensitivity. So it will have a lot of sensitivity this week. It reminds us we can use our own psyche. We can have willpower if we will it. It speaks to us of creation. What is it we're creating? I told you a lot of this has to do with Neptune. Creation, with flexibility, with complexity. Sorry. It also has to do with our unpredictable and strategy. How can we use our strategy but still in unpredictable ways for the benefit? Basically, it speaks to us of regeneration and evolution as well as focus. Now, as we come into the astrology, that was what everything that Spirit has given to me. But I said as we start the astrology this week, I'm going to speak to you just a moment about that negative energy, because we have a lot going on with Mars, Neptune, and Lilith in a negative way, which is more of a challenging way. I don't like to see it as negative. Just means it's challenging. So you have to work hard at this. We're talking about Mars and Gemini. Mars is your warrior. Mars is the warrior. It is your fire. It is your action energy, your passion, and it's in Gemini. Gemini is the two faces. It's the air. It goes back and forth. It's the messaging. I mean, it sees everything for exactly what it is. So it sees both sides. Okay? Mars is really in that energy right now. And it's speaking to Neptune. Again, I'm telling you, what side of Neptune are you on? Are you in creating that creation of Neptune for all of the glorious, wonderful things? Or are you letting your inner beast create negatively to you? Talk negatively to you. You know, you get that mind chatter that sometimes you're just like, shut up. because you know you're thinking negatively and you shouldn't and whatnot. For one, I wear a lot of times when I have that going on, I wear it because of that medium side, and I pick up with spirit energy so much. I wear a lot of frankincense right on the outsides of my ears. I tend to put a drop of frankincense right on the outsides of my ears on both sides, because that's one of the energies, one of the spots for your past lives, as well as for where energy can talk to you. Well, frankincense will run that off. Okay? But you've got Neptune speaking to your Mars and Pisces, which is its home. Neptune and Pisces are coming together. Then you've got Lilith talking to it. Lilith is the dark moon. Lilith is all of your dark energies, your ego energies coming out. And sometimes ego can be good when it's keeping you in check, but once it's gone past keeping you in check, it's no longer good. It's only good when it keeps you in check just enough to know maybe I can't do it this way and I really do need to go do it that way. Or maybe I'm being a little too ballsy and a little arrogant and I need to go back. That's when it's keeping you in check. Otherwise, it's gone overboard and it's full blown in ego. So you've got Lilith, which is ego, your dark energies coming up, speaking to Neptune, speaking to Mars. Okay? That is where your challenge is. Now, the rest of this week actually is quite positive. But before I go any further, I have been saying for about a month now that Saturn, Uranus, and the North Node are in a grand trine. Now, I went and I did the math. I looked at all the astrology. This grand trine is not moving until approximately December. This is your rules, your boundaries department in Sagittarius. You're taking those chances. You're experiencing what can come of let's changing these rules. Let's dissect them and experience maybe a little bit differently within these rules and boundaries. Talking to your Uranus, which is in Aries. It's a starting part. It's that new beginning for your individuality. It's that new beginning for that inventive nature that is of you. It's also your independence. So you're experiencing over this time right up until December exactly where these boundaries are. And it's also communicating with the North Node, which has been on the cusp of Virgo and Leo, but we are moving it directly into Leo. And that is where that inner child is coming up, because Leo wants that inner child to come up in that North Node. It wants you to bring that inner child's power back out. Okay? It wants you to reconnect with that inner child's power, as well as with selflessness. But for the greater good, basically. So your independence, inventive self, working towards selflessness, as well as the power of your inner child, and just that creation. But it's also talking to you about where those boundaries and rules really, truly need to be. Okay, and that will cause a little bit of drama from time to time from now until December of where selflessness is and isn't there. Where are you using that properly? Where are you working towards the higher good? And where are you being selfish? Okay, that isn't going away again until December. But it will have energies popping up through it as the planets move through it, which will add to it. But that energy ain't going anywhere. Now, this week directly, strangely, positive energies is Lilith in Sagittarius. Lilith is that dark moon again, but Lilith is in Sagittarius. So she can either, like a wildfire, take that dark energy and be adventurous. But that could also be that experience inside that maybe you normally wouldn't let out. Maybe when you're more conservative, you're a little bit less conservative. Because it's speaking to Pallas, though. It's speaking to Pallas, and it's speaking to Venus. Yeah, and Pallas is strategy. Pallas is Athena. Pallas is Athena, the goddess Athena. So the goddess of war, but also the goddess of strategy. Again, bounces us right back to the octopus, that unpredictable strategic energy. So you've got Lilith speaking to Pallas in that strategy, but also with Venus. Venus is your senses. This is why it's important. What side of Neptune are you on? Are you on the sensitive, adventurous, let me work through those dark energies and possibly even tweak them into somehow becoming positive and adventurous and standing up and doing things maybe I normally wouldn't do? Or are you letting the sensitive Pallas of Venus and Pallas, because that strategy, talk to Lilith into talking to that inner beast, that inner darker energies that are keeping you from moving forward and holding you back? We also have Pluto and Juno. Like I said, it's positive if your free will makes it positive. Pluto and Juno is in Capricorn. They're both in retrograde. Anytime Pluto is in retrograde, Pluto is in overdrive. If you didn't get those changes in before Pluto went retrograde, Pluto is going to start kicking that door in. These changes are happening, and they're happening now, basically. Pluto is death, decay, and destruction for rejuvenation and rebirth and regeneration, which means change, period. In retrograde means, I said now, basically. You've got Pluto talking to Juno. Juno is all about the commitment and the sacrifice to make it actually happen in Capricorn, which is, again, it's all about building the proper foundation in this situation for that. But it is talking to the sun, and it's talking to Taurus, because that's where the sun is. Sun is our core. Sun is our shine. Sun is everything we want to be known for, but it's also the ego that we are known for. It's how we are seen, whether we truly want to be or not. It is what we want to be seen as. But is that what we're actually projecting? Is what I'm saying. And in Taurus, it can be very bullheaded, that sun energy can. It can also be very sensual and good at getting what it wants in that finessing way, basically, because Taurus is good at that, unless it's in bullheaded energy, basically. So that can be very good at helping this change evolve, sticking to that commitment and making yourself shine into that positive energy as you're going through that change. Unless you're on the wrong side of Neptune and you're stuck in your ego. Then we also have Jupiter and Lilith are talking. Jupiter magnifies anything, but Jupiter speaking to Lilith also is going to be bringing intelligence to her, helping her to see from the darker side why it's dark, and giving her that knowledge, which is a positive thing, because in Sagittarius she can grow rapidly as long as she wants to, as long as she's wanting to learn, as long as you're not letting that ego keep you from doing so. I'm being given, though, that this is happening in green physical energy. For me, that means this is healing growth. If you're working your stuff, if you're working through your truths, then this can be very healing, growth, changing kind of week. Because, like I said, I'm being given it in physical energy, is what I'm being told, for our actual world, our actual life, in green, which has to do with healing, growth, and change. I'm also getting Pluto and Juno, again, both in retrograde, in Capricorn, are talking to Chiron. Chiron is your wounded healer, and it's in Neptune. Right there it's in Pisces, right there with Neptune. So again, like I said, very good free will of changing everything for such a positive manifestation, if you will it. If you don't let Neptune's dark side, its beast, talk shit to you, basically. Otherwise, it should be a wonderful growing week, because you've got Chiron talking to Pluto and Juno, which is change and the commitment needed to do so, to heal those healing wounds. That's why it's the wounded healer. Then you also have Chiron also speaking to the sun. How can you heal what the world sees you as, how you see you as? Okay, how can you get your shine back? How can you get that inner child's power back to have the independence, inventive, glorious nature of I am and I can? How do you get that back? That is all this healing growth energy that I'm being shown right now that is happening in our physical world, as long as we will it, as long as we're on the right side of Neptune. Remember this week, you got to stay on the right side of Neptune, just like last week, because it's all about are we being unpredictable and moving forward in positive ways with all of the magic that Neptune can create? Or are we letting the unpredictable of our beast talk shit to us and keep us pulled back? Really, that's what it comes down to. You've got, on the unpredictable energies, which is completely up to you, how you free will them, basically. You've got that North Node, which is, again, all about that child power, that child energy power. It's all about the courage of the lion heart. It's all about selflessness, because you have the courage of the lion heart. Is being able to have a bigger heart. But you got the North Node also speaking to Chiron again. Chiron, that can be unpredictable because of the energy that we're getting there with it in Pisces. I'm getting this in pale blue, and I'm being told also that the unpredictable energies should be viewed with pale blue energy, which would be more like find tranquility in it. Don't stir up crap in it, basically. Find a neutral spot in these energies and things will go good. Don't allow them to spin you in any form of negative ways. Stay neutral. You've got the North Node, again, in Leo, speaking to Chiron, your wounded healer, which is in Pisces with Neptune. So, is the lion heart coming out in that North Node, in that childish child power, that energy of carefreeness, an unpredictable, fun-loving side of the child that can be selfless because they don't know how to be selfish. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been taught that yet. It's still about love and fun and enjoyment. Speaking to your wounded healer, that can be very powerful unless you let that North Node, Leo, part of the energy, turn it fully into pride. Okay? That's what I'm talking about here. I'm also being given a lion right now for courage in this energy. Which makes sense because I'm talking about the North Node. But I am being given the lion energy, and I'm being basically shown to watch out for his teeth, because I'm seeing him there, but I'm also seeing like the roar, which could go good. You could be roar and completely in your power in a positive way, or watch out for those teeth, basically. You've got Mars in Gemini, speaking again to Pluto and Juno. So that's your SWAT team, your inner warrior, your power of passion and action. Fire is what Mars is. Mars in Gemini is viewing all sides of the aspect, getting all those messages. It's going back and forth. But is it going back and forth so much that it's not really slowing down and getting all the answers? That's what you need to pay attention to. Are you just... But you're not fully getting everything. You're only getting pieces of it, and you're acting on everything. These are why you're being told to keep it in that neutral energy this week, because it's talking to Pluto, death, decay, and destruction, for rebirth, rejuvenation, and renewal, which means change and the proper commitment that it needs for that to grow, for that foundation. It could be one of those unpredictable, challenging energies. You also have the Sun in Taurus speaking directly to Saturn, and the Moon as it's crossing that cusp after the full moon is over. You've got, that's your Sun energy in Taurus, which could be the bull again, but it also could be sensual, it can be sexual, it can be that luxury energy of what it is that your Sun is. But it's also speaking to your Saturn, your rules, your boundaries. In Sagittarius, which is that experiencing. maybe you might want to pay attention to just how much you're experiencing. Or maybe you're not giving yourself the chance to actually go out and experience. But the moon in this energy makes it that little bit of unpredictable, challenging energy as well. Because that moon is the moon is just hitting this week in such a way to where it's just playing with Neptune and your magic. Basically, no matter how it is, everything's just coming back, and Spirit is showing me again, it's all about what is your I am energy, what is your free will energy, what side of Neptune are you on? Because the moon, as it's moving, is going to be challenging that just a little bit. It's going to be blowing up some of those energies and then bringing them back down, and blowing them up and bringing them back down. And like I said, the full moon is on Wednesday in Scorpio. So everything is over intense. Just everything is over intense. And then the energies build from there up for the rest of the week, right up through Mother's Day until where the next week starts. I love you. I know you can have a wonderful week. Just keep yourself on the right side of Neptune. Keep yourself in all of the magic that the world has to offer for the future. Don't look at the past. Because the past is only going to let you talk to your beast right now, unless you're using it in a healing way. I love you, and I'll be back with the Rune Cast on Tuesday or Wednesday. Hugs and kisses. Bye, everybody. And if you want to reach me specifically, you can always reach me at my website, ladystarsandfire.com. Bye.